Okay, so picture this. You're at the top of your game, the absolute best at what you do, and then boom, you just walk away.
Yeah, that's basically Michael Jordan in 1993. The guy was basketball. He had just led the Chicago Bulls to 3 straight NBA championships.
3 in a row. I mean, he wasn't just good. He was, like, unstoppable.
Totally. And then, poof, October 1993, he retires.
Right out of nowhere. And it's not like he went to another team or anything. He went to baseball. Can you believe that? To play with a bat and a glove instead of a basketball?
Yeah, it's one of the most head-scratching moves in sports history.
Yeah.
I mean, think about it. This guy was a legend, a global icon.
Yeah.
And he just decides to switch sports entirely at the peak of his powers.
It's wild, right? And that's exactly what we're diving into today. This is the story of Michael Jordan's baseball journey.
It's a story full of twists and turns, highs and lows, and ultimately a testament to his incredible drive and ambition.
So today we're going to try to unpack it all. What drove him to make this crazy switch? What kind of struggles did he face trying to master a completely new sport? And did he actually have a shot at making it in baseball?
We dug through tons of sources, firsthand accounts, articles, interviews, trying to piece together this fascinating chapter in Jordan's life.
Yeah, we've got a lot to cover, so let's jump right in. I guess the first question is the big one, why? Why would Michael Jordan, at the absolute peak of his basketball career, decide to walk away from it all and try his hand at the baseball? What was he thinking?
Well, a big part of it, and this is really important, is the tragic death of his father, James Jordan, in July of '93. It was a huge loss for Michael and his family.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Their relationship was so close, and his dad was a huge baseball fan. He'd always dreamed of seeing Michael play professional.
Exactly. It wasn't really Michael's dream at first. It was his father's dream. You know, there's actually this really touching story that in one of their last conversations together, Michael and his dad talked about him maybe retiring from basketball to give baseball a try.
Wow, hadn't heard that.
And his dad's response was, just do it. Simple as that. It must have had a huge impact on Michael's decision.
Yeah, you can imagine how powerful that would be to have your dad's blessing on something like that. It wasn't just a random idea, it was about honoring his father's memory.
Exactly. And it also gave him a chance to escape the pressure cooker of being Michael Jordan. I mean, the media scrutiny, the constant attention, the gambling controversies, baseball was a way to step out of the spotlight and do something for himself, you know, just for the love of the game.
Yeah, I can see that. So it was a way to grieve, to reconnect with his dad's memory, and to kind of find himself again away from all the craziness of the NBA.
That's a really good way to put it.
And the timeline is kind of crazy too. He retires from the NBA on October 6th, 1993, and then boom, just a few months later, on February 7th, 1994, he signs a minor league contract with the Chicago White Sox.
And it's interesting because the same guy, Jerry Reinsdorf, owned both the Bulls and the White Sox. So that probably helped smooth things over.
Oh yeah, that's right. I'd forgotten about that connection. It's like fate almost, you know?
Yeah, maybe. But even with Reinsdorf's support, a lot of people were skeptical. I mean, can you imagine the pressure on Jordan? Here he is, this 31-year-old guy who hasn't played organized baseball since high school, trying to make it in a sport where most guys start training as kids.
Right. It's not like picking up a basketball and shooting hoops. This is a whole different beast.
You got it.
Hmm.
And that became pretty clear when he showed up for spring training in Sarasota, Florida in early '94.
Oh yeah, how did that go? I mean, we're talking about Michael Jordan here, one of the greatest athletes of all time. Did he just dominate right away?
Well, not exactly. He definitely had the raw talent and the incredible athleticism, but his baseball skills were, let's just say, a little rusty.
Haha, rusty is a good word for it.
It was like starting from scratch in a lot of ways.
Good
You know,
point.
the White Sox trainer, Herm Schneider, even started working with him before spring training just to build up the specific strength and hand toughness you need for baseball.
Yeah, baseball's tough on your hands. All that hitting and catching.
For sure. So Jordan's got this amazing athleticism, but he's got to learn the fundamentals, the hitting, the throwing, the sliding, the whole 9 yards.
It's like teaching a pro how to walk again almost.
Right. And the White Sox coaches had their work cut out for them, teaching them all the basics. Mike Huff, the outfielder, and Walt Triniak, the hitting coach. They spent a lot of time with him.
Oh wow, so they were really invested in this whole thing.
It seems like it.
Yeah.
And Mike Huff actually said that Jordan's first swings were like super awkward. Like he
Yeah.
just didn't have that baseball IQ, you know, the instincts that come from playing the game for years.
I bet it was pretty funny to watch though, right? Like watching a fish try to ride a bicycle.
Yeah, I guess so.
Yeah.
But Jordan was serious about this. He was putting in the work.
So when was his first game? Like his first time playing in front of a crowd?
His first public appearance was actually an exhibition game against the Chicago Cubs at Wrigley Field on April 7th, 1994. It was called the Windy City Classic.
Oh, yeah, I've heard of that. I bet people were going nuts.
Oh, the place was packed. And Jordan chose to wear number 45, his old high school baseball number. So that was cool.
That's sweet. So how did he do? Did he hit a home run?
Not quite. But he did all right. He went 2 for 5 at the plate and even drove in 2 runs. So not bad for a guy who hadn't played in years.
Yeah, that's pretty impressive, actually. So maybe all those doubters were wrong.
Maybe. But it's important to remember that this was just an exhibition game. You know, the pressure's not as high. The pitchers aren't throwing as hard. It's not the same as a real game.
True. So what happened next? Did he go straight to the major leagues?
Nope. Not even close. They sent him to the minor leagues, to the Chicago White Sox, a Double-A affiliate, Birmingham Barons.
Double-A, so like 2 levels below the majors. That's a pretty big step down.
Yeah, they wanted to give him time to develop, get used to the speed of the game.
Makes sense. So how was his minor league debut? Was it like a huge deal?
Oh, it was a massive event. I mean, the stadium was totally sold out, over 10,000 fans, and there were like 130 reporters there. It was crazy.
Wow, that's insane for a minor league game. I mean,
Wow.
people were really invested in this whole Jordan baseball thing.
For sure. And how did it go? Did he knock it out of the park?
Nope, not this time.
No.
He went 0 for 3 at the plate, struck out once, grounded out, and the Barons lost 10-3.
Oof, that's rough. I bet the crowd was disappointed.
Yeah, they were pretty bummed. But hey, at least he got to play right. That's got to count for something.
True. And he played a lot that season, 127 games in total. He was the Barons' regular right fielder.
So what were his final stats? Did he improve at all?
Well, his batting average was 202. He had 3 home runs, drove in 51 runs. He stole 30 bases but got caught stealing 18 times, and he struck out 114 times.
Yikes, 114 strikeouts. That's a lot.
It is. Hey, he also drew 51 walks, so that shows he was patient at the plate.
True. So, I mean, those numbers aren't exactly amazing, but it's still pretty incredible that he was able to do this at all after being away from the game for so long.
Yeah, and everyone who was there talked about his insane work ethic. He was practicing constantly, like 5 times a day. Morning batting practice, extra fielding drills, late night sessions in the batting cages.
Wow, 5 times a day. That's dedication.
His hands were always blistered and bleeding from all the swinging he was doing. The guy was determined to get better.
He wasn't messing around, that's for sure. So, did he actually improve? Like, did the coaches see any progress?
Oh yeah, definitely. His hitting coach, Mike Barnett, said his pitch recognition got a lot better, and he started hitting with more power. As the season went on, those routine fly balls in batting practice were turning into home runs.
Nice. So he was starting to figure it out.
And he hit his first professional home run on July 30th, 1994, against the Knoxville Smokies. It was a big moment for him, and he even made it onto SportsCenter.
That's awesome. I bet that felt amazing.
You know it. And the thing is, minor league baseball is not glamorous.
Yeah.
It's long bus rides, cheap hotels, fast food. It's a grind.
Yeah, a far cry from the NBA lifestyle.
But Jordan embraced it. He actually bought the team a luxury bus. They called it the Jordan Cruiser.
Seriously?
Yeah, and he helped his teammates too. He was paying the team's catcher, Rogelio Nunez, like $100 for every English word he learned.
Ah, that's so cool. It shows he wasn't just there for himself. He was trying to make the whole team better.
Exactly. And of course, everywhere he went, huge crowds. People loved seeing Michael Jordan play baseball, even if it was in the minors.
So after the Barons season ended, what happened next?
Jordan wasn't done yet. He joined the Scottsdale Scorpions in the Arizona Fall League.
Well, what?
The Arizona Fall League. It's kind of like a finishing school for top baseball prospects. They get more playing time and work on their skills.
Oh, okay, so it's pretty competitive.
Very competitive.
Yeah.
And Jordan actually did pretty well there. He hit 252, which was better than his 202 with the Barons.
That's a solid jump, so maybe he was actually starting to put it all together.
And he had a great start, hitting 317 in his first 41 at-bats.
Wow, so things were looking up.
His manager in Birmingham, Terry Francona, even said that Jordan was a good building block for next year. They were thinking about moving him up to AAA.
AAA, that's just one step away from the majors.
Exactly. And so scouts were even saying that he could maybe make it to the majors in a year or two as a backup outfielder. You know, his speed was a huge asset and his power was getting better.
So you really did have a shot.
It was definitely possible. But then something happened that changed everything. The 1994 MLB players' strike.
Oh yeah, I remember that. It was a huge deal.
It dragged on into 1995, and the owners were planning to use replacement players to start the season.
Replacement players, like basically scabs.
Pretty much.
Yeah.
And Jordan refused to cross the picket line. He said he wouldn't play as a replacement player.
Good for him. I mean, it would have been a huge slap in the face to the other players.
Totally. So on March 2nd, 1995, he left the White Sox camp. And then just a couple weeks later, on March 18th, he sent out that famous fax, "I'm back."
Chills. I remember exactly where I was when I heard that. It was like the whole world stopped.
And that was it. He is back in the NBA, back with the Bulls.
And the rest, as they say, is history. 3 more championships, another three-peat. It's like he never left.
It's crazy, right? And next to all those championships, his baseball years kind of fade into the background.
Yeah, but were they really a failure? I mean, if you just look at the numbers, maybe. But when you hear the stories about his work ethic, his dedication, his improvement, it's hard to call it a failure.
His coaches and teammates have all said that he was making real progress and that hitting 202 in Double-A after all those years away from the game was actually pretty impressive.
Yeah, it shows how much natural talent he had. And it also kind of humanized him. You know, he wasn't this untouchable basketball god anymore. He was just a guy trying to make it in a new sport.
Yeah, there are all these stories about him hanging out with his teammates, going to McDonald's, playing ping pong. It's like a different side of Michael Jordan.
I love that. And it makes you think about other athletes who've tried to switch sports, like Bo Jackson. But Jordan was older when he made the switch, so it was even harder for him.
And you always wonder, what if? What if the strike hadn't happened? Would he have kept playing? Would he have made it to AAA or even the majors?
Tom House, the pitching coach who worked with Jordan, said that if he'd started training earlier, he could have been a successful baseball player. So maybe it wasn't about becoming the next Babe Ruth. Maybe it was about something else.
I think you're right. It was about honoring his dad. It was about challenging himself. It was about proving that he could do anything he set his mind to.
And his agent, David Falk, said something really interesting. He said that Jordan gave up everything to subject himself to potential criticism and ridicule in baseball.
Yeah, that's a powerful statement.
Yeah.
I mean, he was risking his whole legacy, his reputation, just to try something new.
It's pretty inspiring when you think about it. It's like he was saying, I'm not afraid to fail.
And that's what makes him so great. He's not just an amazing athlete, he's also incredibly driven and fearless.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So here we are 31 years later, still talking about Michael Jordan's baseball journey. And even though he didn't become a baseball star, it's still added to his legend. You know, it shows that he was more than just a basketball player.
He was a true athlete, someone who wasn't afraid to push his limits and chase a dream, even if it seemed impossible.
So what do you think? What does Michael Jordan's baseball journey tell us about ambition and about the courage to chase our dreams even when they seem out of reach? Let us know in the comments below, and don't forget to subscribe for more deep dives into fascinating stories like this one.